Welcome everyone to Choice Conversations, the podcast dedicated to helping you improve your life, one choice at a time. I'm your host, Chris Stefanik. Let's do this. Hey gang. Today I'm excited to bring to you part 2 of my series with Antony Sammeroff on Surviving to Thriving. Surviving to Thriving is Antony's personal development online course that will help you to improve your life in all areas. So it's very much in the same theme as Choice Conversations. If you didn't listen to part 1, I encourage you to go back and check that out at some point. But you don't need to do that right now. Just right now, continue listening to part 2. Each episode in the series stands alone, so one is not a prerequisite for the other. Listen to them in any order you'd like. In each episode, Antony and I are going to review one of his 6 modules in the course. So the course is broken up to 6 modules or 6 quote-unquote lessons. So today we're going to get into the second module on needs and how to better satisfy them. I hope you like it. Antony, welcome back.
Woo! Marathon. I'm really enjoying the prospect of doing one show on each of these modules. The last one exceeded my expectations, so I'm excited to be able to continue.
Yeah, no, I am as well. So today, like you said, we're going to dig into Module 2 of your course, Surviving to Thriving. So in this one, it's all about needs and how we grow. Could you maybe talk about that a little bit?
I'm really excited about this module. I guess what I think is unique about my course so far, until someone comes off and rips it off, but as libertarians, we're not huge believers in intellectual property. Oh no, what road am I going down here? Right. Anyway, where was I? Yes, one of the things I think is unique about my course is I've looked at a human being as an organism that has needs, and the formula is meeting needs equals growth. We are part of nature, and we can take our cue from nature. Everything in nature has certain needs. You know that if you don't water your plants, they don't grow. Animals have far more needs than a plant, and we have similar physiological needs to animals, but we have far greater psychological and emotional needs. And rather than see the human being as something that's wounded, which that is a way of looking at it, I see it as having certain needs in order to grow rather than broken and needing fixed. We can talk about wounds. We talked about them in our last interview when we discussed how we adapt to our environment. We adapt to our environment growing up, and now we can look at the ways that we've adapted poorly and say, well, that's a wound. That's a wound right there. But I think thinking of yourself as broken and needing fixed is less optimistic than thinking of yourself as having certain needs that need to be fulfilled in order for your growth to be met. Now, some of these things people will say, well, that's not really a need. You don't die without having it met. And that's certainly true. When we talk about emotional and psychological needs, what we're talking about is what you need to thrive. You can still survive without many of these needs being met, but your life will certainly be impoverished. So the second module of the course is all about assessing yourself as an organism for your needs and how well or poorly you're managing to meet them, and improving your ability to address each of those needs so that growth happens naturally rather than as some kind of struggle.
Right. I like that way of looking at it, that the more needs you have, the more opportunities you have for growth. And it's really a nice way to take it. So you look at the animal kingdom, they don't really have these higher level needs. You think of like Maslow's, pyramid, where, they're really just have the bottom needs at the bottom of the pyramid, the surviving needs, and they don't have the thriving ones.
Right.
And because of that, they're content to just, to get a meal.
Sure.
To have a nice warm den to sleep in, and to mate with their I guess partner, for lack of a better word, to find their mate and procreate. And that's pretty much all that they have. But because they don't have these other needs, they don't have the ability to have the growth that humans have, and all these enriching things as you go up the Maslow's pyramid to the more enlightening and self-actualization and just all the beauty that we can bring into our world.
Right.
When we start addressing all of our needs, right?
Sure. So this is a very interesting point, because animal life is complete when the physiological needs are met. If you've got a full belly, you've got a mate, and you've got a nice sunny spot to lie down in and fall asleep, as an animal, you're really quite happy. The difference is, for a human being, life only begins when the physiological needs are met. If you've got an empty belly, you're not thinking about becoming a lawyer or, getting your daughter through college or whatever complicated things that you start thinking once your physiological needs are met. There's a friend of mine went to Cambodia and said when he went there, it was amazing because the people were so poor, but they were really, really happy. Now, I'm not saying that I hate poverty. I'm not advocating poverty. I just mean to put the point across that when your belly is empty, getting fed is the all. And this is the thing. As soon as our physiological life is met, our psychological life begins, and we start thinking, well, I could be this, I could be that, if I put the effort in. And then that's when the inner conflicts start beginning, because you think, well, shouldn't I be that by now? Oh, if only I'd worked harder, then I could be that. And, now that's when the dissatisfaction also sets in. So we need to really learn to surf the waves of our emotional and psychological needs and learn how to engage with them constructively and learn to meet them better so that we can thrive at whatever level we are, with whatever capacities we have, in whatever way that brings us joy and brings the people that we care about joy. And that is what Module 2 of the course is really designed to do, to give people a deep insight into how they can take better care of themselves so that they get the kind of feelings, values, and fulfillment that they want out of their life and can produce, just like an apple tree produces when you meet its needs. If you don't meet its needs, if you don't take care of the roots, then it will not be able to bear fruit. And I think most people are a massive need, a massive psychological need, is the need for contribution, the need to feel like we are contributing to the well-being of others. And all of the old dictums apply. If you're no good to yourself, you're no good to anyone else. And there's lots of cliches like that, and they're cliches because they're true. So this module is going to help you take care of yourself so that you can enjoy yourself and you can better take care of those around you.
Right. Yeah, so that brings up a good point, which is, a lot of people say, well, if I'm concentrating on myself and taking care of my needs, am I not being selfish then? And there's all this negative connotation around being selfish and that you should be selfless and giving, that's very prevalent in Western culture, but like you said, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of someone else, right? Right.
And I'm a little bit of a randist. I don't see selfish as a pejorative term. I see it as being concerned with your own interests. If you don't do that, if you fall into the pattern of self-sacrifice and becoming a martyr, you always bill other people for it. You feel resentment. You should top up your glass so full that you're overflowing. You can't contain the fruit that you're bearing, and you have to share it with the world. And I believe that if everyone was taught and mentored in doing that, and taking as much care of themselves as they can, we would see a lot of the social and political problems that we see in the world disappear. The philosophy of altruism, the idea that it's the good thing to sacrifice yourself to make other people happy, has led to a situation where people are bereft psychologically. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to cultivate their emotions so that they feel good, and they're always chasing after something external. And as a consequence of that, they don't have the resources to form deep, fulfilling relationships or solve problems for themselves and others. So any inch that you take inside will lead to a foot outside. The reason why people keep on trying to arrange things outside of themselves is because when you do that, you see the results instantly. If you rearrange the bookcase in alphabetical order, you can see the results of that instantly. However, if you do some kind of inner practice, whether it's meditation or some form of mind training, that might actually help you rearrange the bookcase in half the speed later on down the line, but you don't see the results instantly necessarily. So it's that, again, it comes down to, if you want your orchard to bear fruit, you take care of the roots. If you want apples, you don't even think about apples. You think about fertilizer, you think about good soil, you think about water, you think about everything you need, all the ingredients you need to make apples happen naturally.
Nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And, I agree with your stance on altruism. Yeah, it's really sad that when people even think about taking care of themselves, there's often like a guilt or shame associated with that. So it's just stacking one folly on top of another. Very sad.
And I remember that beautiful quote, you take care of you for me, and I'll take care of me for you. If you don't learn to take care of yourself, sooner or later you become dependent on others, and you have an expectation of others because you've sacrificed so much.
Right. Now, one of the cool things about this module, and it was really fun going through the exercises, is you walk the students through a variety of needs. There's like a tremendous variety of needs that you help people to walk through and see if they're being addressed as well as they could be. And I mean, I bet that if, the people listening to this take the course, I would be shocked if they didn't discover some needs that they didn't even realize before were needs. It's pretty neat. Like there's areas of your life that you're not addressing, that you don't even know you're not addressing them until you take this course, right?
Right.
So some of the ones that stood out for me, but I mean, there's just many, but like, laughter. And I was like, am I giving myself enough opportunities for laughter in my life? And I was like, no, I'm not. My life wasn't devoid of laughter, but just looking around at what are the things that make me laugh, it was not as common as I would like it to be. I would like my days to be, maybe not my days filled with laughter, but there to be laughter in my days for sure, or things like excitement. This is something that people often in our modern lives in the developed world we're very lacking in excitement. And, to an extent, some of that is a good thing. If you're a hunter-gatherer and, there's a tiger stalking, that could be exciting, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Right.
Your need for safety and security is not being met in that moment. But once you've got your needs for safety and security met, excitement becomes a need as well, just for living life fully, for that thriving, right? For that, there's the thrill. So what are some ways I can add some excitement in my life that are safe, but fun and really exhilarating?
Well, this series of interviews is so far meeting my need for excitement. I'm really enjoying it, and hearing your ideas and your feedback on the course.
You're too kind. Cool. So do you have maybe an exercise that you could share with the listeners to show them what it is that we're talking about here that maybe help them out?
Well, I guess the exercise would be to consider what are the things that you want that whenever you think about them, you think, I shouldn't want that. Because this is a thing, if our needs were not met in a timely and judicious fashion growing up, we can easily become ambivalent towards them or against our own needs. We start to see any dissatisfaction as inconvenient, quite frankly. We begin to see our needs as inconvenient. So what are the things that you, or a thing that you tend to think, oh, I shouldn't want that, oh, I shouldn't need them? Common things are connection or acknowledgement, more financial freedom. People feel ashamed about liking things. So are there areas in your life where you think, oh, I shouldn't really need that, when often those things, because that doesn't make, it's kind of like, I don't know why we're doing so much politics today, but it's kind of like the war on drugs. Making drugs illegal doesn't make the demand for it go away. And it's the same in your psychological environment. If there's things that you really want which you don't allow yourself, then it doesn't make that desire go away. You must explore that desire and understand that desire and where it's coming from. And you can always dig down a layer and say, why is it that I want that thing? Like, what need does that represent to me? That it could be security, for example. So either you want to one simple thing you can do is let the people around you know that you like to be acknowledged for your work, for example, which is something that people find very difficult to do. Or whatever that need is, can you think of some action that you can take or something that you can integrate into your day-to-day life that will help you have that need met? And observe as you do. What is the difference before and after? If it does indeed turn out to be a superficial need, one of my favorite quotes from the Bible is, not that I'm non-religious, but is that vanity of vanity, all is vanity. When someone realizes that all the things that they're pursuing in the world are actually empty, and in that time the word vanity meant empty. Sometimes I think that's what people are afraid of. They try and convince themselves that their needs are somehow vain or superficial. If that's actually true, perhaps the best way to find out is to pursue that and observe yourself. What are the effects of that? Is it a thing where you feel exactly the same as you did before, or is it a thing that's life supporting? And I find with things that people avoid, I shouldn't really need connection. I shouldn't really need to be able to speak about my problems to someone else. I shouldn't really need that acknowledgement with my work. You find that it's not really superficial at all, but it's something that you could benefit from getting regularly, and helps that part of you come out and grow more.
Right. And actually those words, should and shouldn't, anytime you find yourself saying should and shouldn't, that's a key to say, oh, wait a minute, this is something that needs to be explored, because there's very little in your life that you should or shouldn't be doing, right?
Right.
So there's usually some baggage tied up with those words if you're saying I shouldn't be doing that or I should be doing that. So that's definitely a key.
Well, people want to be in a state of Zen fulfillment when they've not done 20 years training with a Zen Master. Do you know what I mean? When they say, I shouldn't need this, I shouldn't need that. If you are at the point where you've been in an ashram in Tibet for 20 years and you're free from desire and you're excellent at accepting the moment exactly as it is, then, disregard everything I've just said. But so far, I've not met a single Westerner who is in that position. And what my course is really about is about taking your life seriously. That could be your needs to come more into the present moment. Perhaps you lose touch with yourself and all the busyness, and you think you're too busy to meditate or just sit down. That could be a need as well. Just take yourself seriously. You shouldn't dismiss your thoughts and your desires and the richness of your emotional environment. Sometimes there's always another way. You might not need to get that need met in the way that you first occurred to you. But without taking that need seriously, you're unlikely to find a way that you find emotionally satisfying, and it certainly will not put to end the war within yourself between the part who really wants something and the part that tells you shouldn't need it.
Right. Yeah, definitely don't shit on yourself.
Right.
And, like you said, that the Zen Master, if you're a Zen Master, you don't need this or whatever. I'm relatively far along in my personal development, certainly when compared to like the average Joe on the street. Right. And I still found tremendous value and gained tremendous insights and growth opportunities by taking this course. So, I think whether you're just starting out and know that you have a long ways to go, or even if you feel like you're really far along and don't really need much help, I would challenge probably anybody that to take this course and see if that's really true, because
right.
I would bet, that anyone could gain value from this course. And it's the kind of thing where you can take it over and over again. Take it now, 6 months, 12 months from now, take it again, a year or two later, take it again, because there's just so much value in it, so many insights, so many great exercises that you're going to pick up new things the next time you do it. And you're also going to be a different person the next time you do it, because you're going to have new experiences, new growth, and maybe areas before that weren't so pressing because other areas were pressing, will now jump out to you. Like you gave the example of, when you're hungry, that's all that you care about is getting food. And so there's these other needs aren't even really of a concern. Well, maybe it's not hunger because you were surviving, but you weren't thriving. So maybe you needed desperately some connection in your life with other people, or, some intimacy or some acknowledgement for the work you've done, or whatever it is. You had some need, and that was what was pressing when you took it the first time. Then, a year later you take it and you've since, with the help of your course, have been able to get that need filled really well. And are rocking, you take it and you're like, oh, you know what? I have these other needs. They weren't as pressing last year because I really had that need for connection. And so I didn't even realize it. But now it's like, wow, there's this other area for growth too. So it's just, there's more, like you said, the more needs you have, the more opportunity for growth you have. And so, I definitely plan to take this course, many times throughout my life.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for the endorsement, and I'm glad that you found it so transformative that you think of taking it again and again, which is exactly what I would like people to do if they get, because once you've got it, you've got it. So I would add to what you've said. You said even people who are far along, you challenge them not to find the course helpful, and me too. And for that reason, I do offer a full refund for people if they take the course and don't find it helpful. It says that on my website. So there really isn't any risk to anyone listening of trying the course to find out. It's not happened before. I don't anticipate it happening. So I'm more than happy to allow everyone to know that that's where I stand on the matter. I would be embarrassed to put something out that I didn't think would really, really transform people's lives. And I really believe in this course. And by the sound of it, you were impressed by it too. So I just want to encourage people along, if you've enjoyed these first 2 interviews so far, get a head start and grab the course. You will not regret it.
Agreed. So is there anything you wanted to leave the listeners with before we close out the show?
Just take yourself seriously. Take your wisdom seriously. Life's probably taught you a great number of things that are of value to you, and slow down, take notes, and notice what is the life force inside you calling you towards. What is it that you want out of this life, and how can you better support yourself by meeting your needs and attaining those experiences that you want out of your short time on this planet.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much, Antony, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
All right. And I'm so looking forward to next time where we're going to talk about Module 3. How do we attain authenticity, autonomy, and self-respect? It's going to be glorious.
Excellent.
All right. I hope you got some goodness out of that. If you're looking to step up your personal development, I can't think of a better way to do that than to get Surviving to Thriving. There's a link to that in the show notes, so go ahead and click on that link and you will have access. You will not be disappointed. And like Antony said, you don't have anything to lose. He does offer a money-back guarantee, so click the link and get Surviving to Thriving. All right, thank you so much for listening. Take care of yourself. And remember, make the choice to be great.